The NASDAQ is celebrating St. Patrick's Day with that green arrow. And as you noted, Nicole, the three major averages are heading into this final session up a bit on the week. The question is, what does next week bring? We asked Gary B. Smith, Kadina Group President and a Fox News contributor. Hey, Gary, happy Friday.
Good morning. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Indeed. So we saw the Fed hike rates this week. We also saw the average 30-year fixed mortgage hit the highest level of the year, 4.3%. We have a lot of housing data on tap next week. Are we going to see a rush into housing?
I don't think so. I think everything right now, from what I can tell, we're kind of on pause. I mean, I think overall the reaction to the numbers that we had this week, particularly the Fed rate hike, was pretty positive. But you have to remember, since January, I mean, the market's been up almost straight up. What is up almost 6% or so, depending on what average you're looking at. In the last week or so, we've kind of been moving sideways, even with that Fed rate increase. I think we're going to see more of that pause action as we wait to see what unfolds in Washington.
Yeah, the one thing that's worth noting is that the Dow and the S&P haven't had that downside move, that 1% pullback. I think we're close to 60 days now in doing so, which is setting records in itself. Your thought on a little back and fill?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Nicole. I woke up the other morning, you and I must be on the same wavelength, saying, my God, we have not had one of those whoosh down days where it just opens down and you know, at 10:30 the market's down 200, 11 o'clock it's down 300. We're probably due for one of those just based on, you know, reversion to the mean, if you will. I don't know what's going to trigger it. Probably some world event, probably some horrible economic number, probably some idiotic Trump pronouncement. Who knows? I think we're due for one of those. I hate to see them, but
right.
At this point, it's probably healthy for the market to remind everyone that the market can go down and go down very quickly.
But it's not going down precipitously because there's optimism out there about all of Trump's proposals?
Yeah, I think so. That's why, you know, I just said, and I think it's so important to remind everyone, you know, these days, I used to look first at the business news. Now I turn to what's happening in politics. If he is facing this much headwind on what should be, I think, slam dunks on the budget and on the Health Care Act, if we cannot shrink government or at least reorganize government as people want, that's a little depressing because it means that government's going to keep growing and growing and growing, eventually squeezing out private money. That's the only fly I see in the ointment.
And that's a big fly. Gary B. Smith, Kadina Group President and a Fox News contributor. Thank you. Have a beautiful weekend.
You too.